I'm going to talk about the river Saraswati. And there are two reasons why I primarily want to talk about it. First of all, it brings history, archaeology, as well as science together to solve something from our ancient heritage. The second reason being is, although the Saraswati River used to flow only a couple of, 100 kilometers from here in Delhi, it's infinite far from our consciousness. It's not strange to find people talking about the river Saraswati as if it was a BJP dream or it was an RSS fantasy. It's not. It's very much our heritage. It's our fact. There are proofs throughout. We talk about, if we want to talk about from Vedic literature, we have proofs from surveyors, British surveyors and archaeologists, and of course science gives us all the facts. I'm going to start with the proofs in Vedic literature. If we see ancient India and ancient Vedic literature, or the early Vedic literature, Rig Veda, of course, tells us volumes about Saraswati River. There's, of course, Nadi Sukta hymn, and there are 3 hymns dedicated to the river Saraswati. But something happened from early Vedic literature to the later Vedic literature, because the Brahmanas as well as the Puranas, they start talking about the end of river Saraswati. They start talking about Vinashana. Vinashana being the place where the Saraswati River disappears in the desert. While in the early Vedic literature, we have proofs of, they are talking about Saraswati going, starting from the Himalayas and going up till reaching the oceans. But in the later Vedic literature, we have Vinashana, and of course, where the source of the river is, in the lesser Shivaliks, which is also backed by proofs in Mahabharata. Now, while we are talking about it, of course, Saraswati River has been in the news cycle for a variety of reasons, be it the BBC documentary or be some new paper in Nature, or of course, since the BJP government has been in power, it's been talked about and pushed further as if Saraswati is the only thing on BJP's mind in Haryana. But it's not a new thing. If we consider the British era, if we consider early archaeologists and geologists and surveyors, we have a lot of texts talking about how Saraswati River or the paleo bed of Ghaggar Hakra channel was actually Saraswati, and around it there was this big civilization which was flourishing. And it won't be wrong to say if someone calls this Indus civilization as Indus Saraswati civilization. Starting with, say, James Todd in his book Annals and Antiquities of India, he talks about this very area in northern Rajasthan where people have this tradition and people talk about, there are Rajput songs talking about a certain culture where the river is actually quite rich with water, and there is huge civilizations, there are a lot of mounds, and it was very populated. However, in the later years, of course, as we know, this entire Ghaggar Hakra channel became less, it went out of water, and of course got extinct for certain reasons. Now, when people talk about Saraswati River, of course a term comes around Ghaggar Hakra channel. Now, Ghaggar Hakra is not different. Ghaggar is the channel which starts, of course, in modern day close to Pinjore, close to Chandigarh. From there it goes down to Ambala, Kurukshetra, Sirsa, close to Fatehabad, Hanumangarh and Suratgarh in Rajasthan. But as soon as it crosses the Indo-Pak border, it's called by the name of Hakra. So Ghaggar Hakra channel is actually a paleo bed of Saraswati River, and it gets disappeared in the desert or Cholistan desert in Pakistan. Now, in modern day, if we are talking about Saraswati River, there are certain ways of defining how a river is or where was the paleo bed, or did Saraswati even exist. Of course, we have proxies which we take from archaeology. We've got maps of Hindustan which talk about as river Saraswati, which was a tributary of the Saraswati River. Using these proxies, first of all, we start about using remote sensing and aerial photography to find out the channel. Then we use techniques like finding the cross beds on fieldworks. We find about the thickness of the sediment bed. We try to do dating as well to figure out what was the source of the water, what was the source of the sediment. We also try to learn about the sediment flux to ascertain up to which extent was Saraswati as good as it's been described in the Vedic literature. So further, if anyone wants to know about, so there are critically, I believe there are 2 or 3 questions which are very important if one wants to understand the river Saraswati. One is where was the source? Where did the waters come from? The second, of course, when and how did it disappear? In the first context, where the source, we can use zircon dating or we can use strontium dating as well to figure out the source of water. There are certain people who would try to say that the source was Trans-Himalayas. There are others which validate with the facts in or Vedic literature. We talk about the source in Lesser Himalayas. And the other question that's important to answer is how it got disappeared. So there are people who, two schools of thought. One talks about climate change, because as soon as the greenhouse age set in, there was a lot of glacial melting and a lot of water from higher Himalayas was flowing down. So maybe that was the source of water for Saraswati as well. Other reason people talk about how it got extinct or how it disappeared could be very well be tectonics as well. A tectonic shift might have led to change of course of the source of water. So these questions are very important to answer, and it's not something that we should take lightly, because students and college students throughout India every year sit for pray to Saraswati as the goddess of wisdom. So don't take it lightly, and well, scientific research should be furthered, and I believe a value neutral solution to this problem should be found out. Thank you.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.